we're gonna see how this works without booze for me. I'm a little bit worried about it.
You're not funny anymore.
You're not funny. It's not funny.
You need to have a drink.
God awful. God awful. God awful.
I like that place. I saw Dave Attell there last year. It's the only time I've ever been there. To Cap City, that is. It was fucking Dave Attell was funny, man. Dave Attell also. Well, I hate that area generally. That's actually the first and only time I've been to the Domain in 7 years.
Welcome to the God Awful Gospel Hour. It is season 2, episode 3, and it's Domain Talk, where we all talk about how much we hate the Domain. But guess what? Nobody kicked any black people out of their neighborhood to build the Domain. No.
What was it? Was it a farm? I don't even remember what that was.
It was a field. It was nothing.
Nobody kicked any black people out?
Yeah, so that's one of my troll jokes is, because I work in the Domain and I'm up there all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says, Domain. I guarantee you, every East Side hipster person hates the Domain.
Yeah.
But they all hang out where all the white people moved in and bought up and pushed out all the minorities or whatever. But nobody did that in the Domain.
I didn't gentrify this myself.
Yeah.
Hanging out here.
I guarantee you that all those people are all about like anti-gentrification as they party at freaking the Grackle and Shangri-La. I'm mostly just talking about me and Josh's friends.
Yeah. Well, it's fine if it's you. Like, you can do whatever you want. Other people can't do whatever they want. That's
right. Well, when it's me, it's different.
It's different. Yeah. I have good
Double
intentions
standard.
in my heart.
So I got into a debate yesterday with a friend of mine. It started off. I have a stepbrother whose wife is pregnant, and so they finally announced it on like Facebook and Instagram and everything, and she said, "We're pregnant," and I fucking hate "we're pregnant."
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing you could possibly ever say. Of course, I didn't say anything, but I did bitch to my Discord server. And then I have a friend who sometimes he argues with me, and he's like, "Well, what should people say?" I'm like, "We're expecting. That's the closest thing, right? You expect to have a baby. We're having a baby. There's a bun in the oven. We got a baby on the way. We're going to be parents." There's 15 or 20 different things you can say instead of "we are pregnant" when she is pregnant.
She is pregnant, and I am devastated.
Right.
You could say,
The dude is pregnant as much as Jane Goodall is an ape. He gets to watch a lot and learn a lot about all of it.
Right.
He's going to be very aware of every health aspect.
Oh, yes.
You're basically experiencing it.
Right.
If you stick around.
Right. If you stick around.
You get to know.
I'll tell you this right now. If my wife got pregnant right now, I would put the whole plan in action of disappearing.
Yeah, you got your go bag.
Yeah.
You got your PO box with a
Non-extradition.
gun and a safe full of money.
My identity. I'm doing the whole thing from Breaking Bad, where I call the guy about the fucking Hoover vacuum or whatever. I'm I need the Hoover Clean Max 6000.
I've been talking about Bali for 6 months, so they'll look there and waste all their resources.
Yeah,
and I'll be on the other side of the planet
exactly.
of a place I didn't mention ever.
Yep.
You ditch your
Absolutely.
car at the airport and then have the guy come pick you and take you away, so they think you went to the air. So they're chasing that false lead.
All of the above.
Maybe you took a flight.
My favorite thing about pregnancy is that it's a miracle, and if men can't experience it. So, but somehow it's a man's world. But women have intuition; they have fucking superpowers like Wolverine, and they get to experience this miracle that we don't even ever get to know. So, when my baby, I put my head on my wife's stomach, and she kicked me, and she was like, "Is she kicking? She kicked you in the face," and I was like, "You'll never get to experience the miracle of getting kicked in the face."
A woman
from
will
your
never
own
understand.
Your neck isn't long enough. This is only for me right now.
Right. You'll also never understand the miracle of watching that head come out of your own puss.
And then they conflate pregnancy with passing a kidney stone. They say, guys, as close as we can come to the pain is passing a kidney stone. But human children don't come out covered in sharp crystals.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's not the same.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you've ever eaten like $12 worth of food from Taco Bell, then you've probably come close to experiencing the pain of childbirth.
You had a grade F ground beef butt baby.
I want both sexes to be able to experience each other's most painful things. So I want a woman to be able to experience getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah.
And I want a man to be able to experience childbirth, and then we'll all know.
Right.
Then we'll all know.
Right.
And you
I
know
wanna
what's
get
going to
slapped in
happen?
the tits.
The guys, you know what's going to happen if childbirth hurts more? The guys are going to say, "Yeah, childbirth's worse than getting hit in the balls."
Yeah.
But if getting hit in the balls hurts more, women will lie and they'll still say that childbirth hurts
Yeah,
more.
nobody's gonna be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, that's why they say we're pregnant, because the dude is going to have to experience a lot of it. If you say we're pregnant, that you married a Jewish woman who's going to complain a lot, and you are pregnant with her.
Yeah.
You're going through that shit.
But you don't have a baby growing in your uterus. That's my that is the where I draw that is my red line. That's my line in the sand. The word pregnant.
Yeah, it's a technicality.
Pregnant means you have a baby growing inside of you.
Right.
You're grammatically correct and you're technically correct, but you're not emotionally correct, and that's how the other side thinks.
No, the other side's just emotionally wrong. Their feelings are stupid and wrong.
I agree with you. I think it's stupid too. I also think another thing that's fucking stupid is having co-ed baby showers.
Yeah.
It's not a baby shower. If you say we want to have a party to celebrate the fact that
I have to go to one at work.
we're
They're doing one at
pregnant.
work. They're making everybody go.
Right. No, this was supposed to be a fucking time where I get some time to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's been co-opted into this thing that now I have to participate in too, and I'm not into it. I think it's bullshit.
It turns non-Jewish women into Jews. The moaning and the groaning. It's like, my wife is not Jewish, but I was raised with Jewish women. And as soon as she got pregnant, she's like, everything. Lifting your, I can't even lift my phone off the bedside table. I'm exhausted. I did one dish. I'm going to bed. I'm like, you turned into the most Jewish lady I've ever seen.
The co-ed baby showers are like baby showers. That's girl stuff, man.
Yeah.
No man is interested in a baby shower.
Dance lessons.
You know, unless he's getting like video games and shit to play while the baby's asleep or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't think of a single reason I would be into having a baby shower.
There's absolutely no the only thing good that comes out of the baby shower is that you get a bunch of shit that you don't have to pay for yourself. But I don't need to be there to witness opening all that shit up, you know.
Our wives like this because we fuck off for a while.
Right.
And I act annoying all day beforehand, so they want me to leave. Yes,
It's all part of a strategy.
That's what I've started doing on Sundays now. Like when we're doing this, is I just am an utter ass all day. So by the time it's time
She
to go,
wants you to get out.
she's like
Opposite of buttering up, you're salting them up.
I'm salting her down. Yeah. It's time for you to leave.
It's time for you to not like me and be ready for me to walk out the door for a second.
We've been fighting for the last 2 days actually.
Nice.
It was so crazy. Like, we're sitting at dinner, and everything was seemingly fine. Like, we're eating, everything's cool, and then I get up, and she walks over to my seat, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? There's crumbs all over your seat. You know that I cleaned today, right?" And I'm like, "Yo, yeah, I see that. Sorry about that." And then she launches into like a 20-minute tirade about like how I don't do anything and she does everything, like in front of the kid too, which is like
Retard tirade.
always great. I'm like, okay. And then when I'm like, well, I don't know, I just don't think all that's true. You know, I do this, that, and the other thing. She's like, and she realizes that like she has no case. She's like, you know what? You're going to be the most fucking annoying retired person ever. And I was like, wait, what? I thought we were talking about me now, not me in fucking 40 years from never when I'm unable to retire because...
My daughter threatened to put me in at home. And I was like, good, institutionalize me. They bring you shit?
Yeah.
There's STDs like crazy. They're fucking...
they are fucking.
They're awesome.
They are fucking.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
for
no,
sure.
don't throw me in the briar patch.
Dude, that reminds me of whenever I worked in my first, horrible tech support call center job. There was constantly a queue. It was exhausting, right? You're just constantly taking calls, like helping people get on dial-up internet and all that stuff. And so any little loophole or thing you could do to get a few minutes to yourself, I would do.
Yeah.
We fucked with the system. We did whatever we could. So we talked to a lot of old people, and sometimes an old person would hang up the phone, but there's a landline phone, and it wouldn't actually hang up. And so I would be sitting there with an open line, and it would look like I was on a call, and I would just sit there and I would just relax to not have to take another call and not to do any more tech support
the
just for a
census
few
taker
minutes.
from SNL. You hear the lady yelling at her fake panther. Get out of here.
So one time, an old guy I was talking to on the phone, we got done with the call. He hung up. It didn't actually click. And I sat there and I listened to his wife come in and start yelling at him.
Nice, Ron.
It was a nice Ron situation. And it got to the point where she was like, I just wish I would fucking die. This whole house is disgusting. You're a pig, blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
And he's just sitting there going, you love it. You love it. You love it.
Oh man.
I wish I had a recording of that.
You almost
I was
heard
on that call listening to them fight for 30 minutes. And I was just
Glorious.
being entertained.
Yeah.
It
I
was
was witness
amazing.
to a Brad Pitt Once Upon in Hollywood.
Yeah. I was like, if I could have heard a
Torpedo
murder.
stick.
Right, yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
But, I mean, just listening to them, you're like, they've been through this probably 50 times in the past 30 years.
Oh yeah.
And he was just, yeah, you love it. Yeah. Just
50 times 50 times that year.
yeah, probably.
Times 30.
We
Yeah.
went to Chick-fil-A with the children the other day, and I do this thing at Chick-fil-A because they have to say my pleasure when you say thank you.
Oh,
it's
they
part
do?
of
I don't
it,
know
and
that.
it's like a compulsion.
Yeah.
So if you get up to the window and you say thank you loud enough, they'll knee jerk like the guy at the soda machine will go, "You're my pleasure." But sometimes if you do it enough, you can stick a fuck you in there, and then you get to say fuck you and have them say my pleasure. And I'm trying to record it, but they're anti-gay. You know, they're famous for being anti-gay.
Yeah.
So I was telling the kids that, and they're like, "We don't care. It's delicious." And I was like, "Now you understand. Sometimes, the fucking food is good, and it doesn't matter who Walmart's giving their money to.
Right.
You just have to go."
Right.
But then we got up to the window, and the guy gave me the food, and I was like, "Thank you." And he's like, "My pleasure." And I was like, "Ooh. He's Chunk from Goonies. He's taking it all back.
Yeah.
See this nugget? This was
Yeah.
my wish. This was my dream, and I'm taking it back." I was like, "You like your Chick-fil-A sauce like you like your Ladyboys, Polynesian?" The kids were pumped that there was a gay guy working it. They can't filter them all out. He probably
No,
straightened it up
no.
for the interview, and then as soon as he got in,
As soon
he
as
was
you
like,
got in
fabulous.
there. Yeah. There's no hiding that.
I guarantee you that once they got all that backlash, they're like, is he gay? Okay, hire him
Yeah,
just
they
so
have
that
a
we can
token.
say, just to
A
cover
diversity
ourselves. Like, I
hire.
guarantee
Yeah.
you that they are doing everything they can to
We'll find one in
hire-
Austin somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's on paper.
Well, I mean, my daughter told me now that 60% of people are actually like some not straight, which, I mean, I'm not sure that she knows how human evolution works,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that that's
Right.
not the case. But certainly more people are comfortable now than they were when we were kids, which obviously is fucking great. So, yeah, like it's going to make sense that there's going to be some gays. Hey,
Also, if you're in Austin,
yeah.
I mean,
and that too. Yeah.
yes, if you look around Austin, you could definitely think that 60% of the population is gay and trans at the same time.
Dude, I'd totally be gay if tits weren't red. If pussy wasn't delicious,
Yeah.
I would be
I know.
totally gay.
I know. It
Dude,
would be-
imagine watching Netflix with your bro and be like, "You want to jerk me off?"
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, jerk me off. I was going to do it myself, but they would friends with benefits.
It would be so much easier to be gay, right?
You should
Like,
be able to do that with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to jerk off right now,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do it.
Right.
How about you do
How
it?
about you do it? Yeah. Could you imagine how that conversation would go at home?
The
You're like,
patriarchy.
the patriarchy.
Well, it's like when Kojak was over here. Whenever Kojak did his episode, after we got done recording, he was like, "Let's see who's around on Grinder."
Ooh.
I was like, 500 yards away. Like that's how easy it is. It's
Married
like-
with kids on the down low.
yeah.
He
Oh,
could have
yeah.
gone and gotten a hand job.
Because these had to have been people around my neighborhood, you know. And
Right.
I was like, I don't remember seeing any obviously gay guys. A lot of guys with wives and kids,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had an identity crisis where I'm like, maybe I'm a surfer, and I need to move to Bali and surf for the rest of my life. Maybe I feel like I identify as like a helicopter guy.
Yeah.
That's as far as I go with like, who am I?
Right.
Like career shit.
Well, if the wife says that she's pregnant, maybe you can make that happen.
Hell yeah.
I mean, there's no way.
Valley.
There's no way we're there's no way I'm suffering through another kid. Like I'm not doing it at this
You don't want to be pregnant again?
Well, I'll say this: when she got pregnant, I was like, yes, I want Haagen-Dazs at 11 o'clock too.
Dude, I would trigger cravings on my wife that were far away. I was like,
so
"Do you
you could
want
get the fuck out."
Cheesecake Factory?" That was when the only one was at the Arboretum.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was
nice.
like, "I'll be back in 4 hours. It's rush hour."
Yeah,
I would gladly sit in traffic right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
But my wife is my neighborhood's animal witch. Somebody texted her with a problem. They had a screech owl or a little barn owl in a box.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And there's 50 houses in that little neighborhood over there. And she's for some reason, I'm like, what is it about you that they're calling us right now about this owl?
Yeah.
I don't want to be this house.
Wait, what did they want about the owl? What was
They
your
wanted her
response?
to come say what to do. Like call animal control.
Yeah.
Or put the box in the river. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
There's plenty of owls.
Wait, you're not talking about like an owl box up in a tree. You're talking about like
No,
it was
somebody found a wounded small screech owl on the ground and they put it in a cardboard box. And then she came over and she took a picture of it. She's look. I'm like, what did y'all do to solve the issue?
Yeah.
They put it in the woods, it'll get killed on the ground. It
Right.
needs to be up in a tree or whatever. But
No, there's no
some
no
people,
solving that issue. There's
I think
only
we have too many
nature.
plants on our front porch, so everybody thinks we're the fucking hippie people.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, we need to move some of these plants so people stop calling us about every little rat they find or
or
whatever.
or they just need to talk to you for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. I don't talk to anybody in the driveway. I'm linear in the driveway. I'm going in or I'm leaving.
Yeah.
She holds court out there, waters plants, people come by.
Yeah.
I'm like, do not talk to me. I'm going home or I'm leaving.
Yeah.
The driveway is a functional tool.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with talking to anybody.
She's the animal whisperer, and she's also the lame-o and spaz tart in your neighborhood whisperer. She keeps up relationships with people who I'm like, God, that person's so annoying.
Yeah, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So yeah, my kid went to a school dance, and I got them all to do a new dance. It's like Fonzie,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's a school shooter dance.
The school shoot.
So they put on like whatever pumped up kicks,
Yeah.
and they start, bam, firing on each other. That's all they can do is laugh to keep from crying these days, because it's like somebody's on a long enough timeline. Every school is going to get shot up eventually.
I guess on a long enough timeline, that's absolutely true. But I think that timeline's something like 1 billion years. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, right? Like what? 300 kids have been killed since Columbine and school shootings.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just that it gets so much. It's kind of like being gay. It gets so much attention that you think it's way more prevalent than it really is,
Yeah.
right? You know,
all
it's
incels.
insane.
It's all pussy brats.
Right.
We got to redistribute the pussy for these
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And
So
a lot
they
of
can
it,
all get laid and stop shooting up
I
stuff.
honestly, I think it's not a bad idea.
a lot of it reminds me of how obsessed every kind of right-wingish guy got about terrorism for about 10 years after 9/11.
Oh yeah.
Because they thought it was gonna, there was Muslim terrorists around every corner.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna blow us all up if we don't, And the big one happened, and there was a couple little things,
Right.
but then all of a sudden now it's just absolutely absurd. It's like a school shooting. School shootings get a lot of attention, and there's several a year, but if you really look at things statistically,
If
which
you look at the
nobody
numbers,
does, because everybody's looking at getting their emotions from their phone,
Yeah,
their feelings from their phone.
It's
They're
like
addicted to it. So
300 people died in shootings in Chicago last
Right.
month.
Yeah.
No one
Can't
gives a
fuck with that
fuck about that. They care
that's-
about the 400 kids in 25 years.
I
who've
care
been
more
killed.
about you not caring about it. That's more
Yeah.
important. It's telling you that your silence is
Right.
violence
Yeah.
and your complacence is complicit.
Yes. Words are violence, and
What's
silence
important is
violence.
guilt shaming other people for not caring enough about the thing that you don't give a shit.
that you give a shit about very, very temporarily.
So we missed you on Valentine's.
I know, sorry,
Joey
guys.
baby pajamas. You had a tummy ache or whatever?
No, that night wasn't the tummy ache. That was last Saturday night
Yeah.
after eating Valentina's. Oh wait, was it that night? I can't
No,
remember.
it was Super Bowl, so we didn't do it anyway.
Dude, I was fucked up. We went to Valentina's. My buddy was in from out of town.
my brother went to. You were probably at Valentina's the same day. They were throwing up all night long.
The same pig.
Really?
Yeah.
Y'all ate the same pig.
I'm
same
the
hog.
only one who had the fucking pulled pork. I'm the only one who got knocked down.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna
Oh,
double
man.
confirm this from 2 angles.
Yeah.
We're gonna triangulate this thing.
I was in really bad shape, dude.
It was one of those feral hogs, I bet.
That's so weird because Friday night I started feeling weird and
what John
I
said,
threw up. And I was like laying in bed and I was all like shivering and
Oh,
shaking.
you guys' cycles are lining up from just seeing each other every Sunday. Isn't that cute?
And then I threw up and I felt better, but then I was just drained until like Sunday night.
Well, that's fun. Dude, I was so fucking pissed. Even before I got sick, I was so
Yeah.
fucking pissed. Like, my buddy's in from out of town. I wanted to show him Valentina's.
Yeah.
He had never been there before.
Just thinking of Moreno's.
So I know. Well,
Have you been yet?
no. Well, I wasn't. I'm not
I can't wait. To
quite
hear.
ready to go to barbecue
I
yet.
can't wait for you to come in here and say, "Here are my thoughts. I went to Marino's. Here are my thoughts."
You gotta post that on next door.
Next
Yeah.
time, yeah. So he comes and we go, and we waited an hour and a half for the food, and I go up to the thing, and I'm like, "Hey, Chris and Jeff, the order for Chris and Jeff," and they're like, "Oh," and they literally go over and like.
It's just been. They throw it all together.
They throw it all together right then. It's like, and they weren't doing shit.
The
I walked
dude
over.
was eating ass the night before. He handled your food. And he scratched his eyeball.
He's a zoomer. That's what the zoomers are doing.
He was gooning and eating ass.
Yeah.
So Donnie posted this on Valentine's. I thought it was really romantic. The story of Babington, citing an unnamed medical textbook, recalls the story of a nun who lived in a French convent during unspecified time, who inexplicably began to meow like a cat, shortly leading to other nuns in the convent to meow as well. Eventually, all the nuns in the convent would meow together for a certain period, leaving the surrounding community astonished. They did not stop until the police threatened to whip the nuns. This is a good solution for bitches acting all crazy. We should bring this back.
Yeah, I was from an article about like hysterias, like because there was like the dancing hysteria in like the Middle Ages where all the girls in the village would start dancing and they couldn't stop.
Oh yeah.
And then there was like the satanic panic and there's all those.
Right.
This is a really awesome example of a hysteria where all these nuns started meowing until the police told them, if you don't stop, we're going to beat the shit out of you. We're going to whip you.
Yeah, shut up or get winged. Prepared to get winged. I bet they started speaking English real quick after that.
Yeah.
That's like a Hispanic person trying to get out of a ticket by speaking Spanish, and they're like, migra. And they're like, oh, yes, sir.
okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
Hey, nice to speak with you.
You know how women talk about their dudes' dicks all the time? We don't ever talk about their pussies as much as they talk about our dicks. Like, any girls two get together, they're like, you can bet that other girl knows everything about your penis. But my wife's friend was calling her and complaining that her husband didn't last long. That he's like a 2-pump chump or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not a 2-pump chump anymore. That's called TikTok dick. It's only 1 minute short. Yes.
We live in an era of short form.
Yeah.
It applies to fucking
Short.
too.
She needs to get uglier. It's her problem.
Yeah.
She's too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is she too hot? Is that the problem there? No.
She looks like the lady from Love Has Won, the documentary that ate all the colloidal silver, the mother god.
Oh,
This
dude.
HBO thing.
Fucking love that one.
Yeah, that's great.
I love cult documentaries, and that one really. So the thing that just tripped me out about these fucking people is that all they really wanted to do is get fucked up and drink colloidal silver.
Yeah.
basically. That was all they gave a fuck about. Like they didn't care. There was no like. There was really like nothing else to it other than getting fucked up.
As soon as that girl moved in there and started cleaning shit, then they weren't into squalor anymore. Then it was classy.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Yeah.
Until that girl came and started cleaning, it was like
Yeah.
a dirty hippie squalor. But you can't argue with hippie women about anything because they believe in shit that's not real. So what are you doing? Just arguing about a rainbow with a blind person?
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty much. Yeah.
where are we going to go with this? I saw a commercial that it was Women's History Month, and it was like, celebrate Women's History Month on this channel. We were watching Price is Right, and I was like, it's Black History Month.
Yeah.
Is Karen fighting with BLM again? Is it 2020 all over again? Is it COVID? Are we all going to die? It turns out Women's History Month is March.
Oh.
That's when John Lennon wrote all his best songs.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
woman's history.
This woman's
Better listen, woman, to your history.
Run for your life. I'm sorry I beat you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was working on a bit about single historians, and I was looking up famous historians to see if any of them are married. None of them are married. I was right, because women hate when you say a thing that happens.
Oh yeah. Right.
So historians are never going to be with any woman ever, because how dare you rub my face in the Bolshoi Revolution?
Right.
Anything you bring up in the past is like you're rubbing their face.
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just saying yesterday what happened.
Right.
Like, if am I rubbing your face in what we had for dinner last night? No.
When we got in our little fight and I was like saying things, she was like, I'm not looking for you to tell me all the facts, okay? I'm looking for you. I'm trying to tell you how I feel. And I'm like, okay, but the facts are invalidating the feeling.
You've seen that video, The Nail, right?
I don't know if I have.
Okay, we're gonna put on the video, The Nail, on our break here, and we'll be right back. And we're back, and it's not about the nail.
A friend of mine was talking about how much of a curse it is to be born straight. And I was like, salmon have it right. The girls drop the eggs off somewhere and fuck off.
Yeah.
And then the men come back and
Just go,
spray their sperm
Yeah.
and fuck off. And the babies are just born and figure it out. We should figure out something like that for people. How can you have a baby without having to talk to a girl at all once?
Right.
Well, that's assuming that we even want babies in the first place.
Yeah, I think if they had a facility where people could drop off eggs and sperm, they'd be majorly lacking in one of the components needed.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm busting on my shower curtain. I don't need this place.
Right.
You can come and take it. Come scrape it off the curtain.
A test tube and a petri dish.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went to Polvo's. Polvo's is fancy now. There's like 3 or more of them. Polvo's used to be a shithole.
I know that place. What is that place?
It's a Mexican restaurant. They have one at the mall. They have a really
on
nice
South
one downtown. They have the best
First.
guisada.
Oh,
in town.
Yeah.
that's yeah.
But Polvo's is Spanish for powder, and that place used to be a front for drugs. And that's the first time I ever saw a picture of margaritas moving from the East Coast. It's illegal in Virginia to have pictures of margaritas. And they brought one to the table, and I was like, "You can't do that." And they were like, "Welcome to Texas, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And those used to be $12. They're $42 now
What?
That's
for a
insane.
picture of margarita.
Dude, I'm having a hard time with like all of this shit. Like at this point, it's like really not worth eating out anymore.
Oh, no,
and,
no.
and definitely not like drinking out. You know,
Yeah.
like if you go out and get food, and then it's like for the family, it's like $80 to go get food, and then
Yeah.
if you have a couple of drinks, it's like
Another
$110.
30, yeah.
Popeyes is still tight. You can get a family pack that lasts you 2 days in the house.
Oh, hell yeah.
Of stuff.
Oh,
And it comes with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Any place that, like Mexican places have a family pack of fajita shit for 20, 30.
El Pollo
That's great.
Rico,
Dude,
dude.
El Pollo Rico
Yeah,
is
get
my
a
favorite
whole
place.
chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like, isn't that still like $25 for a whole chicken
Yeah.
that'll feed like 6 people with
Yeah.
all the tortillas and all that?
Dude,
Yeah.
I fucking love that place. When we moved here, we struggled to find like good non-Tex-Mex,
Yeah.
and I found that place, and I'm like, I'm good. I never have to go to another like sit-down place ever.
What was your favorite restaurant when you were little growing up in California?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. Did they take it? They took it away from you. Like I went back home to Virginia and all my shit was gone. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
If I had a time machine, I'd go
I
go
mean,
eat first.
I was like, we were a basic bitch kind of family.
Yeah.
You know, like we went to like Coco's, like the diner Coco's. They
Okay.
have, yeah. So like that's no longer.
Okay.
You know? It's just like a simple diner where
There's no diners here.
there's
we don't-
no diners here, dude.
They have like one weird hippie one.
What's
Yeah,
that?
It's like you
Star
go to
Seeds. It's
you
called
go to-
Stars now.
go to gyms.
Yeah,
I guess
Gyms,
it's a diner,
yeah,
right?
24/7 anymore.
That's fair. Gyms is
Yeah, there's nothing that's a 24/7 diner. I can tell you that.
yeah.
So we got to do these things with you that we've done with every guest. Your birthday minus 9 months, and then we figure out the song your parents are fucking to.
So that would have been June of '78.
Minus 9 months.
Oh no, I was March '79,
Okay.
so it would be
June
June
78 Billboard.
Oh yeah, I heard this with Kojak. Yeah.
Hot 100, June 17th, 1978. The Grease soundtrack.
Yeah.
Shadow Dancing, Andy Gibb. You're the One That I Want. Baker Street, Gary Rafferty. Bonnie Tyler, It's a Heartache. Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. Take a Chance on Me. That's a weird rhythm to fuck to.
Take a chance. Take a chance. Take a chance. Take a chance. Yeah.
I don't know any of these except that one. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're just listening to the Grease record.
I mean, all they had back then was the radio.
Gross. Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Dude, that's the rapiest shit.
I know.
It's
Did she
such
put up a fight?
Did she
Put your finger her ass. Tell me more. Did she sit on your face? Oh, I love your face sitting bit, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
I have a tag for you. I want because I always thought that'd be a great way to die. Not right now, but
Right.
eventually. Like, tell your wife, this is actually how I want to go.
Yeah.
So if you're planning, estate
Right.
planning,
Right.
this is how to take me out when it starts to not look good, like that dog we were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. The face sitting weight was like a real thing that like came up between me and her. And then another weird thing. One time we were in line at Universal Studios, and there was a dude and his chick, and the dude had a tattoo on his arm of the chick topless. Like literally,
I'm with stupid.
the chick standing right next to him. And I looked over, and she's like, "Don't ever get a tattoo of me topless." And I'm such a fucking retard. I go, well, if I do, I'll do the pre-baby boobs. Like, we literally didn't talk for the rest of the day. Like, it was.
She keeps giving you ultimatums, also known as loopholes.
Yeah. All I had to
you're
do.
saying there's a chance.
All I had to do was roll down to the tattoo parlor right
Get
then.
some truck nuts at the same time and be double divorced.
Dude, my buddy listened, and the one who gave me the truck nuts. He's like the only one who listened like soup to nuts, and he's like I love that in the first like 2 minutes of the last podcast you're talking about the truck nuts. I'm like, yeah, fucking A, man. Yeah.
My sister was like, "Are you talking to me about me on your show?" And I was like, "Just about how like the video games. I used to play video games with her kids, and she was reading off like why it's M-rated, and it was like it said blood and language next, and she was like, what's blood language?"
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
She was like, "That's okay. Okay, you can talk about that."
Dude, one of my buddies listened, and he was like, so I'm just gonna take it Kristen hasn't heard this.
No,
Like, no.
it's not. Girls don't listen to podcasts. At
No.
all. Unless it's about murder.
Unless it's about murder.
You want to talk about murder? They might listen then. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can start reading off Wikipedia articles about serial killers. It'd probably be all about that.
Oh yeah.
Well, on another episode, we were talking about a fate worse than death, because we were talking about this rapist that got falsely accused and spent Leonard Mack.
Oh yeah.
Spent 42 years in prison, and then he's out, and then now what?
Right.
Like, why even come out?
Right.
But then the worst fate worse than death we can think of is if you get hit in the head so you're retarded, but you still know, and then you get put in a foreign gay jail rape situation. So you're retarded, but you're still cognizant inside there, and you're getting gay raped in a foreign jail.
That would be really, really terrible.
What about a remake of that movie Double Jeopardy? You know that movie with Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones where she gets convicted of murder, but her husband faked his death and all that. So now it's like, well, technically she can kill you. What if it's a remake of that, but it's a black guy who got falsely accused by a white woman of raping her, and so he gets out of jail. And then he's like, "Well, I get to rape you now because I
I
can't have double jeopardy."
Right. He can't get charged with the same crime twice.
Right.
So,
Speaking of double jeopardy, Vincent Simmons was accused of raping twins, and he was in jail falsely for like 37 years, and he got out. And the twins. The women are still like, "Oh, we thought he." Like, there was so long ago, they can't. There's statute of limitations. Like, the women doesn't get locked up when they get exonerated.
Yeah, it's like that Emmett Till bitch. That
Yeah.
lady who lied about Emmett Till finally admitted it when she was dying or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, good for you.
So the
You
end
finally got
game-
that off your chest,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
But the successful end game for a woman falsely accusing a man of rape is that she's on TV and everyone knows that she was so attractive that this guy couldn't stop himself.
he can help himself.
She's famous for having been raped without having gotten raped.
right.
So she gets to be, in public, everybody knows she's irresistible.
Yeah.
And the price is a man's life in jail.
Speaking of rape, what do you think about this? I forget her name. The one who Trump accused, or that accused
E.
Trump.
Jean Carroll, right? Yeah, I think she's the one he just got like found guilty or like defaming her. Or
Defaming
whatever.
her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's
yeah,
got to
yeah.
pay like $400 million or some shit.
But he's not. He's never going to pay. But
Yeah.
the E. Jean Carroll,
he doesn't pay. Yeah. E. Jean Carroll, that's her name.
That's who it was. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, as much as I detest this motherfucker, I just like, she just doesn't know any of the details of the rape.
Well, I mean,
she doesn't know the year that it happened.
It was
like
the same thing with freaking Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
What's her name? What's the teacher's name or the professor's name or whatever she was? Can't remember her name right now. But like she couldn't say like when exactly it was and all that, and like not even like a general like year or like where they were or anything.
Yeah.
She couldn't remember anything.
There's no reverse equivalent. There's nothing a man can accuse a woman of and get like her locked up forever.
No.
That happened inside himself that he can figure out without a lab.
But then of course there's the Biden one, Tara Reid, whatever.
Oh yeah.
There was like, oh, she was just as untrustworthy or whatever, but all the people who probably were seeing red at the Kavanaugh thing, you know, if you
Tara
look
Reid
at
is
that,
just as cockeyed as corn pop, though. She
Yeah.
can't tell what the hell's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
If the economy keeps getting fucked up, all the guys that can afford an 8K TV are going to be too old to like care about that resolution. Like as we get older,
your eyes
the
get
TVs
worse,
get
yeah.
better, but only the rich people can afford it.
Right.
And it's like you don't care because your eyes are going.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll get it for my kids to look at it.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah, that's like the worst part of when we were born, right? What our lives are going to be, because we're never going to have it holographically projected into the inside of our retinas or whatever,
No,
to where
right.
it is the perfect. We're never going to get to that point.
Right.
I mean, 4K games look better than real life because they can focus on things far away
Yeah.
and close perfectly.
Yeah,
So
the
you get the
HDR
background.
colors look better than real life in
Yeah,
that Spider-Man
they already have
game.
it better. We
Yeah.
used to hope for it to look as good as real life, and now they've made it. They've gone beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah. How is it that every consumer good went up like something 6 to like 25% depending on what it was, but like TVs are still like $150 at Walmart
Because they're making money off of
So you can use
the
TVs to buy
ads,
stuff.
off the
like your information.
Yeah.
That's why they're giving phones away.
Yeah, guess it's true. Yeah,
Like every single TV connects to the internet now.
yeah.
It serves you ads. It tracks what you do and what you watch. That's how they keep
So you're
it
the
cheap.
product.
Yeah,
the
you're the
camera,
product. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you cannot buy a TV that doesn't have any apps on it. You can't buy a TV that's just a screen.
Yeah.
All the things
can buy
that
a
Nine Inch
monitor,
Nails
maybe, a
and Rage
monitor.
Against the Machine warned us about.
Yeah.
have come true. Those
Zach
guys are
did-
prophets.
Zach De La Rocha of Irvine,
Trent
California.
Reznor, the prophet Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
I was up above.
God
it.
money.
Man.
Do you have any friends that have pop-by privileges that can just come by your house without calling?
No. I mean,
Not even your oldest best friend that did it when you were little.
You don't have a Kramer.
the thing is that like none of those folks live around here, so maybe in old times, but not in new times.
I have a couple of best friends. Donnie, if you had a shit real bad, you could come. But I mean, I'd be like, your house is right there. You can make it home. Don't do this. Please don't do this to us.
I can't think of a situation where I would need to go to your house to shit when I couldn't go to mine, unless I was already at your house
Yeah.
and had a sudden onset.
If you pop by with some service, like, hey, I'm about to go get a taco,
Yeah.
I'd be welcome.
Yeah.
Everybody would be like, cool, great. But otherwise, yeah, if people knock, it's like,
What's going on?
I hate some people still knock like the cops.
Mhm.
I guess if you have a second floor, people think maybe you're up there and they need to bang.
Yeah.
But hit the doorbell. Like, don't knock like a cop. I'm gonna come heavy.
I think it's something kind of like we were talking about with straws last time. Like some dudes don't drink out of straws because they think it's gay, and some people don't ring doorbells because it's like I'm a man, I have to knock.
Yeah.
Let me
Fancy.
I'm just gonna get my doorbell ringing finger out.
But I mean, yeah, ever since phones have been a thing, it's like, why are you showing up here?
Yeah,
Call me.
yeah.
Call. There's 4 phones in this house.
I don't know.
Email me.
I actually think
yesterday.
I kind of think I'd like to go back to the old way. I'm gonna depart with you on this. Like, I kind of just fucking wish that people would just call me or show up at my house and not text me and be like, "Hey, bro, can I call?" It's like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking call
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a 44-year-old man. I got fucking 2 testicles and a dong. Like, you just give me a ring.
Yeah, I don't like this brave new world. I feel much more comfortable in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. If
Me
somebody
too.
texts and
Me
says,
too.
"Can I call you?" that means there's some problem,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's sensitive.
Right.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, thank you. I don't want to do that.
Now my dad's doing that shit too. I'm like, dude, you are fucking 73
Yeah,
years
message
old.
me on TikTok, old man.
Yeah, message me on TikTok, you son of a bitch.
Did you hear about all of Bob Barker's allegations about groping?
This is some time ago, right? Or
Yeah,
is
the
this
one lady
recently?
was like a Playboy bunny, and
Oh,
she said
yeah,
that he
yeah.
used her as a sex tool. That he was a sex pervert with her.
Yeah, a sex pervert, huh?
But you notice we were watching Price is Right last night, and he does touch people a lot.
Oh yeah.
But he makes it look like he's trying to help them face the right way for the camera. But on the guys, his hands up here, and the girls, his hands down a little bit lower. He's like, now look over here. This is. Are you familiar with the rules of Plinko?
It was a different time, man.
That was how we did it at the debutante ball. The woman's arms go up on the shoulders and the man's go around the waist.
the Family Feud dude he's the best.
Yeah.
he
Richard
was.
Richard something.
Yeah, what's that guy's
He
name?
was kissing. He was Frenching.
Oh
He
yeah.
was groping.
Oh, he was
He was
getting
getting a
out.
whole
He-
handful, right in front of the husband
Yeah.
too, and the husbands are smiling.
Oh yeah.
I think they briefed him beforehand.
Yeah.
They're like,
Like,
"I'm gonna grab your wife.
I'm gonna finger your
and
wife.
you have
in
to
front
fucking
of you.
smile, bitch." I'm gonna go through. So we have a new video editing program now because fuck Adobe. And now that I'm locked in with this new one, I'm gonna get a bunch of Price is Right footage and cut in him from Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
So every time he talks to the woman, he's like, "You're the next contestant on The Price is Right, bitch." I'm just gonna drop that in everywhere. And
I
there
think
is
you've had enough.
you know, You know that's what he was thinking either way, so it's fine.
Yeah, there's a hole-in-one game. There's a putt-putt game in Price is Right, so you can put the audio of him going, you know what I'm getting tired of is you not getting the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
All right, Donnie, it's time for nerd news. Great Chadley's chode. It's time for nerd news. Have you guys seen Madonna lately?
I did.
Well, I saw her when she looked like a monstrosity at that awards show like a year ago, right?
So I think
Yeah,
she
it
did a
wasn't
Final
good.
Fantasy. She tried to look at what was cool with the kids 5 years ago.
Well,
and
that's what she's
when-
always done.
That's when those Bratz dolls were on sale.
Yeah.
So she found a Bratz doll and was like, I
like,
think
I'm
this is
doing it.
what's cool. She took it to her surgeon and was like, make me look like one of these Bratz.
Yeah. Madonna was my favorite of that first, like 2 or 3 months of lockdown whenever COVID first hit and all the celebrities started going crazy
Yeah.
because nobody was paying attention to them.
Yeah.
So stupid freaking Gal Gadot did the Imagine that was just so lame.
Yeah.
And then
That
whenever
was
George
poorly advised.
Floyd...
Somebody told her to do that.
Yeah. that
Whenever
was
George
so-
Floyd happened, all of them were like, I take responsibility. You remember that video?
God, yeah.
But there was one of Madonna in her bathtub. She did like a video of herself singing Vogue to herself in the bathtub. And that was at a time where her face was really like puffy and weird looking.
She looked great during the Guy Ritchie era, and she was almost
Yeah.
50 then.
yeah, I
She had
know.
muscles, and she was hot.
Yeah.
I don't.
She was
just don't-
aging gracefully for a long time.
I
And
just
then
don't-
she was like, no.
Yeah. I'm done aging
Something
Can't be
happened.
graceful
Yeah.
about this anymore. I'm going to turn into a
She
Bratz
hit
doll.
60. Isn't she in her 60s now?
She's in
Yeah,
her
but
60s.
Brad Pitt,
That's
again,
insane.
dudes rock. Brad Pitt is like 64.
Yeah.
He looks awesome.
He's had zero work done. Yeah. I just don't understand how someone like they all have a fucking ton of money. So how can Jane Fonda be 85 and look like she's 60?
Yeah.
And Madonna is 62 and she looks like a Bratz doll.
Yeah.
She did too much ecstasy.
That,
She
that,
flipped
that
her
could be
brain
too.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda.
When
just-
she made that, she had too much ecstasy when she made that electronic album.
But she had an album called Molly that came out like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
She was still dropping
She's-
popping pills when she was like
Yeah.
almost 70. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to do that.
I honestly didn't think that Madonna had done anything since like 87.
Oh, she's doing stuff. She's a Bratz doll
She's
now.
doing stuff. She's
She
doing
looks
stuff
good.
already.
I'd still hit it for the story.
I mean, yeah. We
But, double wrap.
of course. For
Double condom.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
hit it like a salmon. You put your eggs and I'll go spray my sperm and I'll have a Madonna baby without talking to you at all, bitch. Xbox is sad right now. Microsoft is sad. They're moving all their games to PlayStation. We're gonna get Starfield on PlayStation and Hi-Fi Rush and a bunch of the other ones. It was like a press release and everybody was like, "Oh, Bill Gates sucks. Xbox. He was at Epstein's Island. They're losing the war against the Japanese developers." And then all of a sudden they were like, "The next Xbox is going to be the largest technological leap between consoles ever." So we'll see. I don't know. It's probably all a PR thing.
Well, it's like right before Disney's about to announce their earnings, all of a sudden they announce 15 new Star Wars shows, and then all of them get canceled.
And Gina Carano sues them.
Yeah.
Did you see the X-Men trailer?
No.
Did you watch X-Men back in the day?
Yeah, you're
The cartoon?
Yeah, I was the perfect age for that. The X-Men cartoon came out when I was in about 5th grade, and that's when the X-Men got really big. Is about 92 or so, and I watched that cartoon, every day or however. I can't remember what it was. Was it a weekly show? I can't remember, but now they're coming out with the 90s X-Men cartoon, like a new season of the 90s X-Men cartoon. So sure enough, there is a non-binary character because
Of course.
That's her power.
yeah,
That's
and-
their power.
because
My
they
bad.
were everywhere in 1997, right?
Non-binaries.
And then there was a screenshot of Rogue, and it's like comparison side by side to a shot from like the 90s, where she has in the 90s she has this delicious, perfectly round ass,
Yeah.
and then in the
Hallelujah.
screenshot of the new one, her ass is like Brie Larson flat.
Taylor Swift.
Ooh. Yeah.
There's going to be a few little changes, I guarantee, because it's 2024,
Yeah.
and we can't
Right.
be doing
Magneto's
the things that we
gay.
did,
Can't be doing. Can't
But
be
they
doing
did
things
they did
that
set
way.
up some cool ideas in the trailer, like I guess at the end of like the original X-Men cartoon in the 90s, Professor X died. And so now it's picking up, and Cyclops has to lead the team, and then of course the trailer ends with them all walking into Xavier's office and Magneto's in there, and he's like, "The last will and testament of Professor X. Everything of his is now mine." And it's like, "Oh, dun 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 dun," you know.
Yeah.
So I'll watch it, but
They have Gambit riding on Wolverine's back, and he charges his claws with his psionic energy, which probably goes all the way down to his penis. That's your whole skeleton. You got to feel that all the way through, mon chéri. You like that, boy?
yeah, he's gonna blast. So yeah, I guess if you didn't watch, you probably weren't into the X-Men, right? The way that, because
I just never actually ever was able to seize control of the TV from a woman ever. Like I've just always basically like I watched
You're
like
getting your face sat on. You can't reach the remote.
I went straight from like watching Murder She Wrote and Matlock with my mom to watching whatever Love on the Spectrum with
I
my
don't
wife.
care what's on TV. I'm behind her pulling her braids in front of the screen any fucking way. Love on the Spectrum's awesome. You should be so lucky. I love that show. It's heartwarming and heart-wrenching at the same time.
Yeah, I appreciate heartwarming and heart-wrenching, as long as there's no retards involved.
It's when they cross over from half retard to full retard, and then they make them date each other. It's like, don't do that to them.
Yeah.
That dude doesn't know you're
nice.
making him fuck a full mongoloid. So
nice.
you're raping both of them, basically.
Right.
You're TV raping both of them in Australian style.
Are you trying to tell me that TV producers are exploiting people for their benefit?
impossible.
I
Don't
would not-
embarrass me.
I would never believe
I thought
it.
we were friends. You're very difficult to work with. You'll never work in this town again unless you rub my back with a loofah and watch me jerk off into this fern. So we have a running thing on here. This is just like a Final Fantasy themed show. We love this game. We were playing it when you got here. It's a long running. It's like the Star Wars of video games, basically. But every iteration of that game is based on what Japan thought America thought was cool 5 years ago when they started working on it. So like steampunk was the big one when we were in college.
Yeah.
But that was big like 5 years before that.
Right.
And like the 115 was a boy band, and that was like 9 years after boy bands were a thing.
Right.
So when they started developing the game, they were like, do this thing American love to have a boy band. Final Fantasy had a black guy with a gun for a hand because it was 5 years after gangster rap. They're like, American love a black guy with a machine gun for an arm. But now the 16 just came out.
It was like
a
Game of
total
Thrones
Game of
shit,
Thrones
yeah.
ripoff.
Oh yeah.
So that means they're working on 17, and it's going to be based on what they thought America thought was cool 5 years ago, which was just not being sick.
Right.
2019.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be Final Fantasy, but all the characters just talk over Zoom.
Yeah.
That's how the entire plot happens. It all happens over Zoom.
I can't.
Yeah.
No, I can't. This is the least interesting, and that's saying a lot. The least interesting thing I'm going to say tonight. The last Final Fantasy game I played was Final Fantasy 3 on Super Nintendo.
Hell
That's one of the greatest video games of
Now
all
is
time.
that
It was
one
a
or is that 3?
That's 6.
Okay.
3 on the Super Nintendo is Final Fantasy 6 in Japan.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And
Is
that
the
one,
same 6 we played at my house?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was. I was obsessed with that game for like 2 years
I just
until
bought it.
7 came.
I just
out,
bought
you
it
know.
again
Yeah.
for the third time.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's pixel remasters
Yeah.
on PS5 in 4K, so you can see every square.
Is that a good thing?
Well,
Yeah, it's very HD. It's like the
Cathode
HD
ray
version
tubes
of
did
it,
a lot
yeah.
of good for those graphics. They smoothed a lot. That was like anti-aliasing of the 80s.
Yeah.
'Cause everything was squares, and then the ray tube made it look smoother. Respawn Entertainment is making a first-person shooter Mandalorian game instead of Jedi Survivor 3, which sucks. I'd rather them do another Cal Kestis game, but they're doing a bounty hunting game, which that
Is
might
Respawn
be,
the ones who did?
Yeah, Respawn Entertainment did Cal Kestis.
So yeah, one of the only, in my opinion, good Star Wars things that's come out since Disney is the Jedi games.
It's
They're
canon.
they're a little kind of Dark Soulsy. You have to like time your moves right and parry and roll.
It's kind of a
and all
fencing
that.
game,
Yeah,
but with lightsabers. It's really well done.
yeah, it's pretty.
But
fun.
I don't
We'll
play a
call
lot
that
of
dance fighting.
first-person shooters because I don't like making everybody in the room watch my perspective move around. It
Yeah.
makes me sick watching other people
Yeah.
swing the camera crazy. But if it's in the Star Wars universe, I'll do it. And if I'm a bounty hunter and I need to scope in and zoom in and use binoculars and find stuff, clues, that makes a good case for having an FPS instead of a, jankety walking around crazy leg Cal Kestis guy that can't find anything.
So wait, you don't like first person? Do you like third person?
Yeah, I like to see the dude.
Like to see the dude.
And then
Likes
I
to see
use
the
a
dude's
girl in
asshole.
GTA because I like to look at the girl's butt the whole
Yeah,
time.
you-
But then all the guys online are like, "What's up, girl?" And I'm like, "I'm not a girl. I'm being trans in GTA. I'm identifying as a woman."
Yeah.
in
Get
San
with the
Andreas.
times, you ass.
What's wrong with you that you like looking at a dude's ass the whole time? That's your problem.
Yeah.
Why did you pick the skinny jeans?
Yeah.
Speaking of Star Wars, Star Trek, remember the guy that died, Chekhov, from the new one, Anton?
Yeah, what's
another face.
Chekhov's name?
Almost fate worse than death. He died in his own driveway. His car rolled down on him and pinned him in between like the stone fence and the
Anton Yelchin.
Yeah, you think he was yelching for help for a while before they came?
That was.
Maybe that should replace your freaking Christian Bale Heath Ledger joke.
I actually thought I thought you were a Toby Keith joke. There was something reminiscent about that.
That's what I would do if I could go back in time. Not my favorite restaurant. I go back to when these jokes were good and
Yeah,
topical the day of and do.
I've
an open
actually
mic.
thought a lot about doing a whole thing where I'm like,
The
this
Too
is the
Soon
stand-up,
Come
that,
up with some 9/11 shit.
or just like this is the stand-up I wanted to do in 1998,
Yeah.
and then just like talk about like O.J. Simpson,
Monica
and shit.
Lewinsky.
yeah, just like really just go for it. But
There was a perfect Clinton joke when that dress came out. Remember the optical illusion dress that everybody's
yeah,
arguing if it
yeah.
was gold or blue?
yeah.
And I wanted Clinton to be like, "There's no white on that dress." I promise.
I can always tell. All
I-
right, let's
I
take one
know
more
that.
break, and we'll be right back.
And I know. Did you guys watch Mallrats?
It's been 25 years.
You need to
but-
watch it again. It's really good. We watched it with my 14-year-old daughter, and she was like, "This is awesome."
Dude, that is a great movie to watch with kids.
It's about nothing. It's
Yeah.
another one movie about nothing.
Yeah, it's a trilogy, right? It's Mallrats, Clerks, and
He's done
There's
so much.
through lines.
He did.
There's
he-
Walt Flanagan's dog.
yeah. So yeah, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy,
Chasing Amy.
I think they're making
Dogma,
Mallrats too. Yeah, now.
and then Jay and
talking
Silent
about-
Bob Strike Back. Those were the ones that were like that whole universe or world.
Right.
And then he made another Clerks, like 2 more Clerks. I haven't even seen the third Clerks movie.
Well,
I'm
Mallrats
kind
was
of
the perfect time. Jason Lee was not a Scientologist yet. They had the dude from Dazed and Confused.
Oh yeah.
It had what's his name from Walking Dead, Michael Rooker.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of great people in it, and Brandy Svenning, Claire Forlani.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
She was great.
What's the most fucked up movie you've watched with your kids?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I watched Pulp Fiction. We watched Black Swan a few months ago.
Nice.
That was pretty rough.
My daughter wants to watch Euphoria. I'm like, that's kids mixed with train spotting, but
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
But now.
Yeah, but now,
It's
yeah.
just all trauma, all trans
We're
trauma,
all- yeah.
and ODing on fentanyl. I'm like, I was like, Jesus Christ, when I watched it. I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to watch all of them. This is
I
a great
didn't
show.
watch any of that. I wasn't. I mean, again, I don't control what's on the TVs.
Oh, I burned so many things into my nephew's brain. I showed him The Shining when he was about 10 or 11.
Fuck yeah, nice.
And I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It's kind of scary, but he'll be okay. But I forgot about the lady in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And so, we were sitting here and he goes, the lady's comes out of the bathtub at the boy,
Yeah.
what's his name? Shoot, Danny.
Danny.
And he turns to me and he goes, Uncle Donnie, can I sleep in your bed with you tonight?
You're like, no, you're sleeping in the bathtub.
I'm like,
That's a nice pedophile trick. Put on a scary movie, and all. That's what Michael Jackson did. You're gonna put on The Shining, and then all the kids are gonna want to sleep in my bed.
and then my niece, she went through a phase where we would watch scary movies, and I don't know if she didn't understand it enough to be scared or whatever, but I mean, she was maybe 3 or 4, and I put on Alien, and because Wyatt had never seen it, that's my nephew, and so she's watching it with us, and about halfway through the movie, she just turns to us, she goes, "The alien is making everybody dead."
I'm lucky we watched Starship Troopers with the boy a couple of months ago because now he's playing Helldivers. It's the same thing.
So
Yeah.
much
They
boobies.
have all this dialogue. They're like, the aliens are threatening our way of life. We got to spread democracy. I'm doing my part. It's basically the same gag
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Starship Troopers over and over again, but in a video game.
Yeah.
We used to tell hot girls, "Who the fuck do you think you are, Brandy Svenning?" all the time after Mallrats came out. Like the hottest girl we could ever imagine.
God, I love Claire Forlani. What's she up to now? What's she looking like?
What else was she in? She was in Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black. She was in Antitrust. Did you ever see Antitrust?
I don't
It
think
was
so.
Tim Robbins plays a fictional evil version of Bill Gates.
I remember
It's
that
Ryan
movie. I never,
Phillippe.
I never saw it.
And yeah, she's his girl. And then Rachel Lee Cook was in it. It was like the year 2000 hot young actor show with Tim Robbins as an evil Bill Gates that murders people for their code.
Oh yeah.
She was in that. I can't remember. I mean, she felt like she was in like 4 or 5 movies in like the late 90s, early 2000s, but I haven't seen her in anything since.
We were posting screenshots of the Madam Web Rotten Tomatoes, the Spider-Woman movie that just came out.
Oh yeah.
And I posted one like, haha, it's at 23% Rotten Tomatoes because it sucks.
Yeah.
And all the critics are like, none of the dialogue matches the tone of like even the scene of what was supposed to be written about. It's just a mishmash nightmare. And then I posted, and then I went, it's like somebody was like, what is it, 23? And I went to find it again. It was down to 17.
Oh.
And I was like, the Madame enjoys going down, doesn't she? She continues to go down. That's how I like my Madame's webs.
Yes, Dakota Johnson, Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson's daughter is in the 50 Shades of Grey movies or whatever and all that. And she says, whenever I read the script, it was much better. They really changed it or whatever. And I said, I guarantee you, when you got that script, you were just like, so this is like a Spider-Man thing, right? And that's like Marvel? I guarantee you that's all that she thought whenever she
Can we
got
just
that
have
movie.
like girls hanging out and being cool and having fun? And maybe they just have powers every once in a while. It doesn't even matter. It's not about the nail.
Right. It's not about the nail.
So Stephen Sergeant Miles has been arrested. He's a gay porn star that was at January 6th.
Oh.
Nice.
Which entrance to the White House do you think he used? Or the Capitol? He went in through the rear? He's the one that shit on his desk.
Yeah.
His asshole was ready.
Did he just get arrested? Is this a?
Yeah, they're locking everybody up now. It used to be if you had video evidence of somebody doing a crime, that was it. It's a lock.
Right.
But not anymore. I mean, it took them 30, 40 years to get Tupac's killer.
Yeah.
And there was video footage of that. It was grainy. But there's video footage of everybody at January 6th, and I think that it's a political. They're waiting. They're doing it all during like
the election season.
Yeah. To make, they're gonna make Trump look bad.
I just wish.
Oh my God.
I just wish they would stop. Just stop all. I mean, as much as I despise these fucking idiots, it's like just stop talking about him. Period. You're just.
They're trying to make Biden look old. What are they doing?
I told my son that I would vote for Biden, but I felt like it was elder abuse, and he was like, "Yeah, Dad, that's a good one."
Forcing it, sex trafficking. You're sex trafficking Biden to make him keep working for you over and over again.
I mean, I feel like this motherfucker should be like sitting on a beach, like enjoying the fruits of his 90 years in public service.
Yeah.
Not
He's
doing-
been, him and Bernie both need to retire as champion. Of
There's too many
politics.
old. They're getting too old. Like
just go do
all of
something
them.
else.
Yeah.
Just go do anything else.
And then Sean Evans, the host of Hot Ones, was dating a porn star for like a day.
And then everybody found out about it, and he broke up with her on Valentine's Day.
Everybody was like, gross. And he was like, you know what? That is gross.
It is gross. Yeah.
I'll put a lot of stuff in my mouth for money, but maybe not.
But
That's too spicy.
But this,
Speaking of face sitting, it's too spicy.
it's a little too much.
We got a chessboard, and the kids were playing, and my daughter took one of the pieces and threw them, and they lost them. I had to lift up the couches and try to find this missing pawn this morning, and my son kept asking me to lift up the couch and woke me up this morning, and I was like, what did we learn, buddy? He was like, what? And I was like, chess is a gentleman's game. Women get too upset and start throwing shit.
Yeah.
They can't play these kind of things.
Was she throwing it because she was mad? Is that?
I thought my wife was asleep, and she chirped up from the nether realms and was like, good grief, Josh.
Yeah.
That's how you know a joke is good. If your wife goes, good, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the best jokes are the ones that make women go, "That's not funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny."
It's not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like that whole thing in my house when they were talking about that women's soccer player. I already told you all this, but they were talking about the women's soccer player. It's like, yeah, put her up against it in the 8th grade.
We were going to do a Final Fantasy stream last night with Intergrade, and there's all this, Yuffie stuff in the new one. I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about Yuffie because she's underage?
We just can't.
She's not real. It's not a real person. There's all these creeps doing like Spider-Gwen porn.
Yeah.
The girl from Into the Spider-Verse, the
Oh,
blonde girl.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you can't do that. She's 15. And it's like, she's not anything.
She's not a real person.
She's not
She's
real.
not anything at all.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
link.
Yeah. Well, actually, she's a 500-year-old witch. That's the whole
Yeah.
That's the meme joke about like anime guys who are into like the lolicon porn or whatever. Like, you know, she's actually 500 years old. She just looks like she's 12.
Right.
You know.
Right. Is it okay? Speaking of all this, is it okay to jerk off to like pictures of your like 8th grade?
Right.
Is that?
Well, it's like that.
If you have been jerking off to that this whole time,
For the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then and you never took a break.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So-
if you took a year break, now you're a pedophile.
So what's the okay? So I'm just curious. What's the interval? Because
There has to be a through line theme.
well, what's the through line though? Is it every single day or like once a month?
This is the same thing you do at my work. If you extend something, you have to put the old date so it never was inactive.
Right.
You have to keep the dates
I have been
lined up.
jerking off to this picture since October 9th, 1993.
You have to film yourself
Yeah.
jerking off when you were in 8th grade and show that to the police. And now they're pedophiles because they
'cause
watched
they've
an
seen
8th
it, yeah.
grade you jerking
Yeah,
off to
right.
the 8th grade.
I
Now you're a double pedophile.
I'm just wondering. I
Even
just
in
wanna
like your
know.
imagination and your
Asking for a
memories. Like
friend.
if I'm jerking off remembering something that happened whenever I was 16 and she
Right.
was 15.
Right.
What is that? I'm 42 right now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's in my brain.
It's in your brain.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, basically the story of Yuffie is that they found this girl in the woods and they beat her up and put her to work. Right? They
Yeah.
find Yuffie.
She's 16 and
And
yeah.
she's a thief. She can steal shit. And she's like got extra stats, but like I think that's a Japanese trope, finding a girl in the woods and beating her up and making her work for you.
Yeah.
That's happened a lot of times.
Yeah. They definitely
That's the
don't,
Japanese version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
they don't shy
That's what
away
was
from
cool
that.
in Japan. That's what
Yeah.
they thought was cool in
Yeah.
America 5 years before. Americans are always finding a girl in the woods and making her beat up and work. They must or I can have a video game.
Oh man.
I have a closing thought. Are we done? Does anybody else have anything? So if you're down and you're troubled and you're discouraged, just remember when God closes a pussy, he opens an asshole. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, we're gonna have some streams. We tried to do a stream last night, and I didn't have the studio hooked up very well, but we got the studio hooked up now. So I'm thinking next weekend we might be doing a stream, and we might be talking
Chris-
X-Men with Jason.
Chris, you can come for the stream sometime if you want to just make fun
Yeah.
of us for being gay,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
for liking video games.
Yeah.
actually yeah,
I'm
I'm
50.
pretty into that. Yeah.
you can heckle our stream.
We need a what the hell is this guy? What the hell is this?
I've been trying to like find my voice in this whole thing. I think a heckler is like the heckler for the nerd stuff is good.
Yeah,
You need to watch more Oprah, then you'll find your voice.
Yeah.
You can live your truth and have your journey.
Yeah, all of the above.
so yeah, this is the God Awful Gospel Hour signing off, and just as a last reminder, don't say we're pregnant. Don't do it. Just stop.